Welcome to Good for Bitcoin, a weekly show recorded live every Friday, where we recap the top events of the week and talk about everything that is good for Bitcoin. If it's built on Bitcoin, then it's good for Bitcoin. Let's get started.
Content shared on this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It does not constitute financial, investment, or legal advice. The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guests and do not reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, or company. We encourage you to conduct your own research and consult with a qualified professional before making any financial decisions.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Good for Bitcoin. My name is Brandon, and I am realizing that I need a different cadence for our intro still, and I can't just say the same thing that I've said for like the past year and a half. But Kate, let me throw it to you, and you can introduce yourself as well.
Hey guys, I'm Kate. I'm the co-host of Good for Bitcoin with Brandon. We recently both made the switch over to STX Labs, so I do a lot of content at STX Labs. Yeah, I don't know why I can't talk about myself right now.
Listen,
But,
we missed 1 week and
I
we're just rusty immediately.
Totally thrown off. But
Well, welcome back. Great news. I just went to the youtube.com/@goodforbitcoin channel. We can see it right here being shared on the screen. And we are live, so we have fixed YouTube, which is great. Go find us, go subscribe to us. 9 subscribers, we got to pump those numbers up.
we'll get there.
We'll get there, yeah. But very cool. We're live streaming there. We're also, I don't know if I should, okay, let me just do it. We're also live streaming here.
Yeah. I forgot about this.
Yeah. I literally, I've never used Pump.fun before, and I've got to maybe make sure that there's no like not safe for work things that show up on the screen here. I've never used Pump.fun before, and I created a new account, and I created a Good for Bitcoin token just so I could get an RTMP link that would allow us to live stream to Pump.fun. So I'm scared to click on anything. We should
What's
be
our
in here
token
somewhere.
name?
I think it's just Good for Bitcoin.
Nice.
Very simple. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we're probably going to be like at the bottom of this, right? In terms
That's
of
okay, though.
views and stuff. But
We got
if
the
somebody can
inspiration
find
from...
us,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Go
I
ahead.
was going to say we got the inspiration from Laura Chin, right? With
Yes.
Unchained, they decided to start streaming it just to like experiment with it, and like, who knows? I mean, I think just more eyes on Bitcoin is a beneficial thing. So why not have some fun with it? I don't think we're trying to pump our GFB.
I did absolutely nothing with like look, there's even like many Good for Bitcoins on here. We're not even the first one. I did absolutely nothing in terms of pre-buying anything. I didn't know there's no pre-mint here. We should be here somewhere, but my God, there's like going to be so much junk in here as well. Well, I can't even find the token that I created on a different computer, so I'm not even logged in. Anyway, we're live streaming somewhere. I think the only thing that we haven't done yet, we forgot to do your account. But
Yes,
that's okay.
we will do that though. Yep.
I think we're on LinkedIn too, on my LinkedIn. We're just trying to broadcast out there everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a lot to catch up on. We were out this week. How was your Canadian Thanksgiving?
It was lovely. I spent some time with my family, and usually when I go, I guess I'll call it a vacation, but when I just like spend some time away, I really try to stay off my phone, stay off my computer. You're really carrying the news this week, and I am really, you have like a segment in here maybe about the liquidation event and just like how the price of Bitcoin just went a little crazy. And I'm excited to hear a little bit more about that because I honestly did not follow. And as someone who just really holds their Bitcoin and doesn't do much with it, I am unfamiliar with what happened.
Yeah, I actually don't have a lot to say about it. So I was also out last week because I was heading up early on Friday to go to a wedding. So I was very busy on Saturday for that. So I kind of missed most of it also. The main like event was kind of Friday night going into Saturday. And Saturday was kind of the bulk of it, where there was just this huge crash in altcoins. Yeah, I guess it was like this just big liquidation event. I saw a tweet. I didn't get a chance to put it in for the show. I saw a tweet about it from Galaxy Digital, and they were saying that it was due to some exchange had an issue with their Oracle that then caused this like cascading effect. It's like it was like some stable coin that had an issue and that caused this like cascading effect that cause all these liquidations to happen. But yeah, I mean, I guess like if you're not buying anything on leverage, like didn't affect you at all, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the price went down a little bit, but like it mostly has gone back up since then, at least on the Bitcoin side. So I don't know. It was a big event for 24 hours, and then like the market's already kind of forgotten about it, and 1 week later.
As it does.
Yeah, yeah. But apparently it was the biggest liquidation event ever in crypto. Like
That's crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly like even though it's the biggest, certainly not the most impactful. Like when I think of biggest liquidation event, I still think of like FTX and
Yeah.
everything that happened with that. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it'll be a small blip in the history books of crypto markets, I guess, this past weekend that happened. But
Absolutely.
hey, we're still here.
We're
Sustainable Bitcoin practices. It does highlight though one thing that I have thought about a lot is especially with like all of these perp dexes that are becoming more popular now. It's kind of like perps season. Like, if you're in stacks, like many of the people that are watching, obviously you're familiar with Velar, but like there's a lot of other perp dexes that are out there on other chains that are also like perp dex season is here almost. I feel like people are trading stuff on perp dexes without really understanding the impact of that. And like even I'm nowhere near an expert on trading, and you can get like completely wrecked by trading on perp dexes if you don't know what you're doing.
Yep.
And that was partially what caused a lot of these liquidations. So
Okay.
just be careful out there, DCA, just do some basic boring stuff and you'll probably be fine, versus like trading on leverage and doing all that stuff.
The
Or if
long
you
way
do
is
want to do
usually
it,
the
of course,
shortcut.
don't like do it with like 100% of like your stack, right? Like pick whatever ratio is safe for you and, do that.
Consider it gambling in a way.
Yeah, it is very much so.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a lot of news to catch up on. We're doing 2 weeks of news, so lots of stuff to talk about. Of course, we got to start off with our public company news. Last week, we saw Mara buy 373 BTC, and this week we saw them buy 400 BTC. So they now hold 53,200.
Nice. And then the Canadian public company Liquid, we've talked about them a few times. They deployed 47 BTC from their treasury on the Lightning Network, basically to generate yield from routing fees. And they're claiming they generated 8.9% in over 60 days, which is pretty crazy. That's very high for the for the Lightning Network.
Yeah, that's super impressive. I do wonder like how sustainable that is. Obviously, they just did like a 60-day test. Like if they did it for like a full 1 year, would it actually be 8.9%? I don't know. We should maybe have Jake or Jesus from the Bitcoin Yield team on here and maybe talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because that is super interesting.
Yeah. Because routing fees are really just like volume, right? So like the more volume there is, the more routing fees that you make. So I'm wondering if there was like a spike in usage on the network. I have no idea, but pretty interesting.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get into a lot of actual Lightning news this week. A lot of pretty bullish Lightning news coming out, which is exciting. But yeah, we'll get into that. A few different Nakamoto news items. This is sort of like a sequence of events that have happened over the past couple of weeks. So the first one was that Kindly MD, which is like Nakamoto's sort of parent company, I guess, secured a $200 million credit facility from 2 Prime and completed a convertible note redemption. Basically what that means is that they took out that $200 million credit facility. It's basically like a $200 million loan is essentially what that means. And then they use the proceeds from that financing or from that loan to redeem a $200 million convertible something with 1.5 interest with this other company, YA, which is like an investment fund that's managed by Yorkville. Basically, like it's a lot of like complicated financial stuff. Basically, they took out a loan with 2Prime to pay off another loan that they had with Yorkville. And then, like a couple days later, they announced a strategic partnership with Ant Alpha with the intent to establish a $250 million convertible debt facility. Basically, that means that they have like $250 million total that they could take out and lend out from this Ant Alpha company. And then the proceeds from that were then used to replace the credit facility that they had just gotten from 2Prime. So now, and the 2Prime credit facility will also remain open. So they're just like opening up a bunch of like credit cards and buying Bitcoin with them, which is a little odd. I guess that's like a common thing that these companies are doing, but it's just like, again, it's like, at what point is this just buying with leverage, right? Which we just talked about can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
There was like some additional sort of commentary from David Bailey. This tweet, he said, just clarifying as we've gotten a few questions, the 2Prime credit facility last week was bridge financing to this transaction. Part of the use of proceeds from this convert will pay off that facility. We'll still keep the facility open if we ever need it in the future and appreciate their support and flexibility. So yeah, they just have like these lines of credit to buy Bitcoin with, I guess. And they're taking out one credit card to pay off another credit card. And I don't know, it's not great, but they did come out with this dashboard that it's actually pretty cool. I can just show it on the screen for a second, that tracks their holdings plus like their MNAV. And the only reason I'm showing it is just because it's like very cool and like interactive. You can click and drag and you can see. I mean, they've talked about wanting to basically own like Bitcoin treasury companies in like every country. So this is kind of their representation of that. So like we have obviously the US, we have Treasury, and then Metaplanet as well that they have a stake in. So pretty cool.
I don't know why I thought they had a lot more than 5,700 Bitcoin under them.
I don't know. I'd have to go. Well, I guess their numbers are going to be accurate, I'm sure.
Yeah, but definitely. I think maybe they just like have bigger plans and they've mentioned other numbers. So maybe that's why it's throwing me off. But yeah, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. So the saga continues with Nakamoto trying to sort of like right their ship again after like that big dump that happened a few weeks ago. Yeah. Strategy did not buy any BTC last week, but they did buy 219 BTC this week. So they now hold 640,250 BTC. And I'm sure there's other smaller ones too, but that's all we have.
Yeah, that's who made the news this week.
Here. Yeah. But yeah, let's get into some of the news. So first one, which is cool because I have some friends that are here at this company. So Galaxy launched Galaxy One, which is their new sort of all-in-one CeFi app that lets you buy Bitcoin, crypto, and also US equities or stocks. So all in one place, kind of being like that super app, kind of like Robinhood is trying to be. The one thing that's cool about it is they're paying 4% BTC interest on all your cash deposits. Very similar to River. River has this option. I am a customer of River, and it's really cool being able to like deposit USD and earning your interest in Bitcoin. So they're offering that. But they also have a version for accredited investors where they're offering 8% in interest on your cash deposits. That 8%, where does the yield come from? That 8% is coming from Galaxy's lending activities. Sounds pretty familiar to like the Coinbase offering that we have also talked about on the show. But it's interesting because like the Galaxy One offering is only available for accredited investors because it's definitely more of like a CeFi platform, where Coinbase is offering up to 10.6% on their kind of earning stuff through more DeFi. So you don't need to be an accredited investor. You can just do it. Yeah. Your funds prove themselves. It's kind of like something I've really learned when we were working on Granite is like how the yield curves like give you basically better rates because, well, obviously it's like you kind of like take out the middleman and all of the fees that are associated with that. And then it's very much just
determined by the market. And so you're able to get like a much lower loan rate over the long term. I mean, you have to be able to weather the volatility, but yeah, it's just cool how like DeFi is able to offer you more and then offer you lower on the other end if you're taking a loan. So very cool.
Yeah. And Galaxy One is led by Zach Prince, who is the ex-CEO of BlockFi. I used to work at BlockFi, so there's a few people over there that I know that are working with Zach now. So shout out to all my my ex-BlockFi coworkers.
Very
So yeah,
cool.
it'd be cool to watch that. But yeah, it's cool that Galaxy also is a publicly traded company now. So it's cool that we have like more crypto companies that are publicly traded, just further integrating themselves into the markets, especially offering something like US equities, trading, and just being that kind of all-in-one super app is pretty neat.
Yeah, that'll be a cool one to watch out for.
Yeah. This one I was very excited by because I was reading it and I saw a name and I was like, wait, that name looks kind of familiar. Saw the news this week that California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed SB 822 into law, which prevents unclaimed crypto assets from being automatically liquidated. We've seen kind of similar bills from a couple other states that we've talked about on the show. But the one thing that's very cool about this is it was authored by Senator Josh Becker, which is actually my local senator here in the Bay Area in California. So very cool just to see like a local senator representing me apparently and, getting this bill signed.
Yeah, I was wondering if you picked up the phone and called him and you were vouching for it. That's cool though.
I should just send him a message and be like, good job. Maybe
Nice.
we'll invite him on the show.
Yeah, we'll see if he's on Twitter. You should tag him and let him know you're very thrilled.
Yeah, we'll clip this exact conversation and we'll tag him and be like, Josh, come on. Talk to us about Bitcoin. That'd be cool.
Very awesome.
But yeah, basically the bill, it's similar to a couple other bills that we've covered in other states. It requires that unclaimed crypto assets or those that have been dormant for 3 years on custodial platforms such as exchanges be transferred to state custody in their original form without a forced liquidation or cash conversion. So that basically prevents automatic sale and ensures that the assets are held securely by a qualified custodian until the owner reclaims them. So it's a big win for consumers, right? If you, I don't know, somehow like if you have, it's also a little weird. Like if I just don't log into my Coinbase account for like 3 years, does that mean like my California is going to take all my money? So I don't know exactly how like the specifics of it, but yeah, basically, yeah, you won't get your Bitcoin liquidated, I guess. It does say though that the controller may convert the assets to fiat currency if nobody has come forward within 18 to 20 months after an unclaimed account is reported. So it doesn't necessarily seem like California is going to be like long-term holding the Bitcoin. It's just sort of more of a consumer protection that, is going to make it so that the Bitcoin isn't immediately liquidated and converted into fiat. But, we'll take the win. It's still pretty cool.
Take the win. We need to push Josh Becker to actually write a strategic Bitcoin reserve next.
Yeah. Yeah, we at least have, digital assets, a lot of digital assets wording in the bill.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how many other bills that have passed in California have like digital assets in their text, but it's probably one of the first. So that's pretty neat.
I can take this one. So we have, Stacks announced they're partnering with the Pakistan government to build a blockchain innovation hub. Obviously, there's close ties with Muneeb to Pakistan. That's where he's from. And I think they've done a lot of work together in the past. But Stacks is going to be helping by supporting growing the digital economy in Pakistan, building up this culture of entrepreneurship, developing real world use cases through education, different community programs, and pilot initiatives. There was a meeting during the UN General Assembly week that consisted of the finance minister of Pakistan, plus Muneeb and Andre representing Stacks. And there was a bunch of other people there as well. And maybe you can talk about, I don't know if you know like kind of what happened in that meeting, but it's basically like they're pushing for regulations, compliant stablecoin infrastructure, remittances, and KYC solutions with the Stacks team, which is seriously cool because I feel like this could be like a really good blueprint for how to develop it in other emerging countries and markets.
Yeah, I don't know, like this, I don't know if they've come out with like the exact specifics of what they discussed, but certainly just like a focus on like regulatory clarity, with a lot of this stuff. Pakistan has also, I think we talked about it on the show, that it was Pakistan that's also been looking into like a Bitcoin reserve potentially. Because this is a independent show, we can do a small amount of speculation, and also like big caveat that like we don't have any insider information on this like whatsoever. This is like pure speculation. But obviously like with stacks, like Munib has been posting a lot lately on like Bitcoin treasury companies. He's been posting a lot about, we have dual stacking coming up. That was also just recently announced, right? Where you can make your Bitcoin more productive. So it's like all these puzzle pieces are like falling into place with like these Bitcoin treasury companies or Bitcoin treasury countries, right? That might be able to like get a yield on their Bitcoin. And it's just really cool to see like Munib out there, trying to make that happen. End of speculation. But I just think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Plus you had CZ like very involved with Pakistan as well. So something is brewing.
Yeah. I just talked about it, but that was the other big news over the past couple of weeks is Stacks announcing dual stacking. So we can get into a little bit more on exactly what that is. Basically, it's going to allow you to, I'm realizing I'm not logged in, so I can't view the whole thread here. Here's the first post about it. I should try to get the blog post up here so we can reference that a little bit easier. But basically what it's going to do is it allows you to earn a yield on your Bitcoin in the form of sBTC based on how much STX you are stacking. Previously, if you've been on Stacks, we've had the sBTC rewards program. You might be familiar with that, where you earn a yield just for having sBTC in your wallet. That program is sort of being phased out in favor of this one, which in my opinion is a lot better for, stackers and for existing Stacks users, just because there is that aligned incentive with the STX token. So in order to get a really strong yield on your Bitcoin, you have to have some amount of STX. I think the max multiple for that is like 10x. So you can earn up to 10x more yield on your Bitcoin based on how much, or sort of the ratio of stacks to Bitcoin you have in your wallet. So really cool stuff. This is launching this month at the end of October. So we won't have far to wait, I guess, until this is available. But
yeah, 2 more weeks.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Very cool.
So the light paper is live. It's in this thread. If you go to Stacks, you can find the link, read up about it. Andre posted the light paper, so you can read up on exactly how it works. But it's very, very exciting, I think, for the future of Stacks. And also, I think like the way that it's being pitched is it's really aligned for growth, right? Like it's trying to bring more Bitcoiners in, advertising that like safe, sustainable yield that's powered by like Stacks proof of transfer that you can't get on any other chain, right? No other chain has proof of transfer. So Stacks is.
Yeah, this is very cool. And I think like as we continue to like talk about it, I feel like proof of transfer is going to be such a big talking point, because people are going to be wondering like, well, where does the yield come from? That's like the first question that everyone asks. Yeah, that's going to be, I think a lot of people will get onboarded to proof of transfer and how it's so unique and why no one else is doing it except for Stacks.
I'm going to see if this works. I'm going to try sharing my screen here. We're going to give Square some ad space for this next portion, but I'm very excited about this. So wanted to dedicate some time to it. So let's watch this video and we'll get a little overview of Square Bitcoin.
Bitcoin can help diversify how you spend, save, and invest in your business, especially when every swipe of a credit card eats away at your bottom line. Let's say you run a local grocery chain. Most purchases are small, like a bag of produce or a gallon of milk, so credit card fees start to add up fast. With Square, you can now accept Bitcoin with zero payment processing fees, no chargebacks, and near instant access to funds. And you choose how money settles into your account, whether in USD or Bitcoin, instantly and right from your Square dashboard. Whether you're aiming for short-term goals or planning for the long haul, you can automatically convert a percentage of your daily card sales into Bitcoin. No extra steps, no added complexity. It's a smart, seamless way to build savings in the background, all while keeping your day-to-day cash flow predictable. And when tax time comes, you'll get the paperwork you need right where you find your reports and bank statements. Bitcoin is just another way for you to take control of how your business makes and spends money. Enable Bitcoin payments and conversions in your Square dashboard. Head to squareup.com/Bitcoin to learn more.
That's legit.
So
Yeah.
this is huge. I mean, obviously, you know, Square is a huge company. Like you go to any coffee shop, like any like local mom and pop shop in your neighborhood probably is using Square as their payment terminals. So the fact that every single Square point of sale system is going to be able to accept Bitcoin starting November 10th. So like we're just less than a month away from that is just so cool. It's going to create, I think, such a big impact. And the payments are also powered by Lightning. So it's also going to drive Lightning usage as well. But I really like how they're positioning this as if you're a merchant of any kind, you are very familiar with like credit card fees. They can be up to 3.5% or more. You know, not having chargebacks, like those are all very real pain points that if you are a seller, you have experienced. The fact that they're coming with like 0% fees is immediately like, wow, that's amazing. And I really love how they're doing it with being able to, they're basically offering, you can keep it in BTC if the person is paying in BTC, or you can convert it to fiat if you would prefer. So you can literally just like be powered by Bitcoin, receive fiat, and just have the benefit of no fees if you are a merchant that doesn't care about holding Bitcoin. Or you can keep it in Bitcoin, of course, if you care about Bitcoin, or you can keep a portion of your sales in Bitcoin. You can set between, I think it was like up to half of your daily sales can be in Bitcoin. They'll handle like tax reporting for you. I just think they're doing this in like such a smart way. So it's really, really cool. And you will also be able to withdraw to an external wallet if you want to, if you're a seller. So very cool stuff.
This is what they mean when people talk about like at a certain point when Bitcoin becomes like so mainstream, people won't even really know that they're using it. And like this is kind of how I envision this.
Yes.
Like you're using Bitcoin rails, but you really have, it's not like the front and center thing. It like makes it so convenient, but like that's not the focus of this product. It's really so cool. I just feel like the experience for merchants is really amazing and improved from the current situation, and the amount of fees you will save is insane. Like 3.5% is wild. It's a big number when it comes to credit card processing fees. So this is really cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be 0% fees for all of the rest of next year through 2026, and then after that, I think I saw it's gonna go up to 1%. So that's like, I mean, still much better than 3.5. There is a Bitcoin marketing kit that if you are a merchant, you can order that says like Bitcoin preferred, and you know you can have some cool stickers on your shop, you know, signage. So it's free. If you're a merchant, go grab it, and yeah, you're gonna start being able to accept Bitcoin.
I'm assuming the $600
cool
has to do with IRS reporting.
I would assume that is the case. Yeah, it's either that or it's just like, I'm sure that they have like crazy optimizations for like channel routing and things like that, you know? So maybe, you know, if it gets beyond $600, maybe it's like it gets more expensive for them to manage those channels.
Yeah.
So could be a few of those types of things, but yeah, I'm very excited for this. Like you said, I think, yeah, like trying to have the technology fade in the background as much as possible and just to focus on the benefits of like no chargebacks, zero fees, that type of stuff. Like we need a lot more of that in the world. So that's really cool.
Tell me about this next one.
This is crazy. I feel like you could go down this like really, like you could just go down a rabbit hole with this one. So the DOJ has seized 127,271 BTC, or $15 billion in Bitcoin from this massive pig butchering scam that I don't think we covered on the show, but it was this really big thing that happened, I think last year, or maybe it was early this year. I think it was last year. But basically, like, that's a huge amount of Bitcoin. I mean, $15 billion worth of Bitcoin. It's the largest forfeiture action ever in DOJ history. An indictment was charging this alleged scammer, Chen Shi, was unsealed in federal court in Brooklyn, New York, but apparently she still remains at large. So still out there somewhere, hiding with Satoshi, I guess. The U.S. Attorney's Office said in a press release that the Prince Group, which operates businesses in more than 30 countries, ran, quote, forced labor scam compounds across Cambodia where individuals were held against their will and the compounds engaged in cryptocurrency investment fraud schemes known as pig butchering scams that stole billions of dollars from victims in the United States and around the world, and went on to say that hundreds were trafficked and forced to work these scams under threats of violence. So, like, absolutely horrific. It's crazy. So yeah, it's pretty terrible that this person is still at large. But the story goes deep because these funds, I guess, were originally stolen by the Lu Bian mining operation, which is also run by this person, Chen. Those were stolen in, I guess, 2020, and then they've sat idle on the blockchain ever since. But I guess they like moved like a week ago or something. And the controversial part is people were figuring out, like, how do you, I guess there was some report saying that they like found a laptop that had like private keys on it, but some were speculating that like they somehow found a way to like hack the blockchain and there was like some FUD around it. But not necessarily the blockchain itself, but there was like some vulnerability in like the early wallet type of wallet that they were using that like made it easier to crack, and somehow the DOJ was able to do it. I think it's all still speculation, but basically, yeah, a DOJ official did confirm, though, that they have the funds, but they could not comment on how they got them. So there's, I'm sure, going to be a lot of conspiracy theories around this, and it'll continue to develop. But really crazy story, and hopefully this person gets caught soon.
Yeah.
Because that's really horrific. I didn't realize that they had these like forced labor camps. Like, God, it's like terrible.
Yeah, this is really bad.
But yeah, I mean, and then it, like, this is the biggest example of this, right? Where if you were a victim of this scam and they stole your money, now the US has stolen or stole your Bitcoin. Now the US has taken the Bitcoin and seized it for themselves. Like, who is the rightful owner of this Bitcoin? This is going to be the biggest profile case of that. Obviously, if you had your Bitcoin stolen by this person, you would want your Bitcoin back. Legally, maybe they just give you whatever the price of Bitcoin was at the time in USD back, and then they keep the Bitcoin. Like, they could do something like that. TBD, I guess, on exactly what comes with all that Bitcoin, but that's a hefty bounty.
Insane.
$15 billion.
Yeah, just thinking about the logistics of returning all of that is, we need a whole new department just for that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. The lawyers are going to get a majority of that, I'm sure, before it's even available again for the victims. But yeah, crazy stuff.
All right. And then we have a partnership announcement between Kalshi, the prediction market, with Pyth, which is awesome. Obviously, Stacks is well acquainted with Pyth, and yeah, so it's an oracle. It will bring like real-time data to Kalshi for its prediction markets. So it's bringing real-time event-based odds on-chain. So this appears to be a pilot program. They're starting with just 4 bets. That's the New York City mayoral election, the F1 Drivers' Champion, the MLB Championship, and the number of rate cuts in 2025. I thought that said rare cuts. I was like, what is that? But rate cuts, like interest rates at the Federal Reserve.
Should have been more specific. Sorry about that.
No, you're all good. All right, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, it expands. Only those 4 is like not super useful in real practice. Yeah, I mean, it opens the door to have like a fully decentralized, like on-chain. Well, I guess it's not fully decentralized because there's still an oracle.
Yeah.
Oracles aren't decentralized, but Still really cool. Like it opens up a lot of applications. Yeah, Pith is on Stacks. Um, anybody that's building like a betting market on Stacks, for example, right, could potentially tap into this. So yeah, it's pretty neat. And Kalshi is doing a lot lately. I feel like I think I
Yeah.
saw a stat that they had like more volume than Polymarket. I don't know if that was true or not, but I think I read that the other day.
They have some amazing ads, that's for sure. So maybe that's what's causing such a growth in it. But yes, their ads are hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty like active on Twitter too.
Yeah.
I think Polymarket is also like they're
Polymarket's very
pretty crypto
active.
native, Twitter native.
Yeah.
North Dakota is set to launch their own stablecoin. So the Bank of North Dakota and its core banking services provider Fiserv have partnered to develop the state's very own stablecoin named the Rough Rider coin. Initially, the two entities will conduct a beta test to demonstrate that the stablecoin can be used between financial institutions to improve efficiency and quality control with financial transactions between them. So sounds like it's very much in beta, not quite as like ironed out as Wyoming stablecoin, but kind of more of a pilot program, but just cool to see more states kind of testing the waters. After Wyoming launched theirs in August.
Dakota on the map. What do you see as like the benefit of states developing their own stable coins?
It's just like it's almost like free money. If you control the rails, you control, the cash that's powering those stable coins, the cash that's backing those stable coins. So especially when interest rates are higher, like we are now in these higher interest rates environments in the US, you get to make money off of that interest and not necessarily pass it on to the holders of the stable coin. So, I mean, it's kind of the same way that like Tether is like, so profitable.
Yeah.
Because they have so much money in cash and cash reserves and cash equivalents that they're just making interest off of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, states want a piece of that.
Makes sense.
And states aren't as regulated under like the Genius Bill because they're states and they're not like private companies. So they have like a little bit more leeway, I think, in how they can conduct things too, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is cool. And now
another one, small one for Polymarket. They now offer Bitcoin deposits to fund your account. So I think like these are other good examples, right? Of like the tech is fading away. Like they're kind of like crypto native, but like they don't really show it too much, right? If you go to Polymarket, you're not really like interacting with blockchain stuff and like tech stuff too much. But like Polymarket is kind of powered by blockchain tech, but they now offer Bitcoin deposits as well. So pretty cool.
Awesome. I just
and you got some quick ones.
Yeah, quick hits that just
I
found from the timeline that I thought were pretty cool. I don't have like a ton of info on them. I feel like sometimes they're more clickbait than anything.
Some cool headlines to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. So the Open Door CEO, Kaz Najashin, I don't know how to pronounce that one.
Good try.
Says that they're going to enable buying homes using Bitcoin and crypto, which is crazy if true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Open Door might be US only, but and like I'm not sure how that would work. Like if they would be conducting the escrow again, like not many details, but just to have that in the headline is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, this is going to be a huge tangent that I'm about to go on.
Let's go.
You're familiar with kind of what I've been going through with the housing stuff. For those that don't know, I don't think I've like talked about it too much, but my dad passed away back in December, and he owned the house that we are living in. It's a multifamily house, so we live next door to him, and he had a reverse mortgage on the house. So when a relative has a reverse mortgage on the house, the relative passes away, you don't just inherit the house, you also basically inherit the reverse mortgage. So I didn't really inherit a house, I inherited a bunch of debt. And there's a lot of legal stuff that's required in terms of like transferring ownership. Literally this week, all the legal stuff got finished in terms of like processing the will and like the probate and like all that stuff. It literally takes like almost a year, sometimes more for people, which is crazy. But anyway, this week I started looking into refinancing the reverse mortgage, because obviously I can't pay off like the crazy amount of money that the reverse mortgage had. So I basically need to get my own mortgage. And I've been going through Rocket Mortgage, which is like a little bit more of, I I guess slightly more tech forward than like the banks tend to be with this stuff. And I did ask them about using Bitcoin as like collateral, and he said yes. I didn't get too deep into it because I am not going to end up doing that. But interesting, that at least they are offering some sort of integration with Bitcoin. Yeah, I don't know exactly what that looks like, if it needs to be like on a centralized exchange or not. He probably wouldn't have known, but the person I was talking to, but yeah, that's interesting.
Well, maybe it would go through someone like Peter Thiel, who just got approved basically to open a Bitcoin bank. He got approval from US regulators. Obviously, Peter Thiel is the co-founder of PayPal, so he is way up there in the rankings of billionaires. I feel like we have talked about his Bitcoin bank before on the show, but I'm not super sure like what the plans are for the bank itself. Yeah, I'm honestly not familiar.
Yeah, I think it was probably like he was planning on launching it, right? And now the news is that like US regulators have approved it, so they're making some progress.
And then the
I think
next one
wasn't it with Palmer Luckey, or like there was like another person that he was like also doing it with?
Yep.
Could be totally wrong on that. I don't know.
No, it was Palmer Luckey. Yeah, because we were talking about Palantir, so it was definitely him, or it was the other guy with Palantir. I forget his name.
I forget his name too, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, we both.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Anyway, interesting. And then the last one, which I think could be a mass onboarding event to Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Beast just filed a trademark to launch a Bitcoin-focused banking app. No idea what that entails, but it does come with over 500 million followers. So
yeah, that's pretty crazy. We'll have to have Mr. Beast on the show to talk about it.
That's so funny.
I'm sure he'd be happy to come on, support small creators.
Hey, if anyone would, it would be him.
True. Yeah. Wow. Rapid fire. We did a lot, or covered a lot over this past hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's everything. I think we covered everything.
That wraps it up for me. I think we covered everything.
Yeah. We still don't have an outro. We need to do that still sometime.
We'll get there.
But yeah, independent show, we don't have the funding anymore to do these fancy outros. We'll figure it out. Maybe if you buy our Pump.fun token, we'll do an outro.
Oh, that's so funny. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. As always, it's always so fun doing these shows, and it means a lot when you guys tune in, hit subscribe. It's awesome.
Yeah, go find us on YouTube and subscribe. Go find us on Spotify, subscribe, give us a rating. Go subscribe to us on all the things. And yeah, we'll see y'all next week. I think we're going to be recording a day early next week, but we will be here. So maybe by next week we won't be quite as rusty as we were at the start of the show.
We'll get there.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend. Bye, y'all.
Bye.